Hey guys, Crispy here. Just bringing you an update. I'm currently working on an Orc army for a tournament that's coming up at the beginning of November. It's 1850 points, and it's actually using a comp system called Community Comp. You're allowed to have a maximum of 12 community comp points. My army's got the 12, which is actually surprising because it's not overly competitive, or I don't think it is. So without further ado, I am taking my Orc Dread mob. I suppose I'll start off with my Mega Dread. So this guy, as you can see, he's just like your standard Forge World Mega Dread, but I made a custom, there we go, custom kill cannon. The bullets on the side there are from the Stomper kit, and he's probably about 80% done. I still got to do a lot of the rust and sort of weathering and stuff, but his base is coming along okay as well, and I've got the blue glow from inside the cabin. So that's one of my heavy support choices. My other heavy support is I went with a big Squiggoth. So he is there, that's his face. So he still needs a lot of work done on him. But I've started doing the little motifs on the side there, and got some more there. Still got to do the rust on his armor, but his armor's basically done. I'm not happy with the claws, so there's a lot of work to do on the claws and the horns. And also, I think I might change his eye color. I've got them red at the moment, but I don't think I like red eyes. I think I'll go with like a more yellow eye, maybe. We'll see. And he needs some orange on him as well, just to tie him in. Maybe some blue. Tie him in with the rest. So there's my heavy support. Then I'll move on to my fast attack. So fast attack, I took 4 grot tanks with big shooters. So for these guys, for the base I used a white and black spray from GW, and then I also sprayed over the top of that, just sort of roughly a squirt. I think it's like a tin color. It's like a really bright metal. It's almost like a mithril metal color. And then from there I just used a whole bunch of washes and different weathering. I've done some rust, and that I've used I can't remember what the brown's called. It's like dark flesh, same color as dark flesh, but I'm using an army painter color. And then I've also used some burnish, I think it's burn umber brown as well. Really like that color. And then let's see, I've got a couple I've got the others. So there's this little guy. He's armed with the Grotzuka gun, but you know, I don't think anyone's going to really complain too heavily. That's not a big shooter. And then here's the third one. So you can see I've done the little blue lights coming from the compartment. And then, you know, I still want to work on these exhaust pipes. I've got to make them look a little bit more grimy. And the last one, it's got the blue. And I've done some orc sort of details on him. And I've done another GW color. What's it called? Can't remember what it's called, but it's got like dirt in it. I know that Kenny from Next Level Painting uses on absolutely everything, so if you watch any of his videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And then, so that's one fast attack choice, and then I'm taking 5 Grotzuka cans. I'll just grab them here. These ones, I haven't actually really started on these. I'm not happy with them. There's one here. So I was trying to do I did a metal color, and then like it was basically almost a wash, and then I've used a bunch of weathering pigments over the top to try and make him look sort of well weathered. But I'm not happy overall with the color, so I'm going to go, these will look more like the grot tanks eventually. So taking 5 of these guys with the Grotzukas, and then I'm taking 3 with the rockets, and again these guys are just this is like my old scheme, but these guys will be repainted soon. But I've got 3 of these little guys, and the good thing about the Dread Mob is the Forge World Dread Mob list, all the cans are only 35 points, but then you use all the current upgrade pricings from the Orc Codex. So with the latest Orc Codex, they reduced all the cost of all the upgrades, so it only costs you 105 points for 3 rocket cans, because rockets are now free. So that's pretty good, I thought. And then the Grotzuka cans, I think, are 40 points each instead of 55, so that's not bad. But then in the comp system, you're paying 4 comp points for these cans, and you know they've got all those drawbacks. Well, being 11 armor, 2 hull points, and then they've also got like that crappy almost leadership rule, which no other walker in the game has to deal with. But I still think that'll be alright. And I've got a Death Dread Mob, because I am the Dread Mob. So here is one of my Death Dreads. So this guy still got to do the rust on him, but you can sort of get the hint of where I'm going with it. And this is just meant to be like a really faded red, and the base is obviously not done. The base will be a more darker color. And I'm also working on this guy. I got this guy from a friend of mine, and it literally was like, well, pieces, and so I've used just my bits box to make him a dread. So he's got strange arms, and he had to be armed with the double scorcher, but that's fine. So the squad eventually will be two Death Dreads with 3 close combat weapons. This is my old scheme. I'll fix this up. But yeah, they'll have 2 with 3 Dreadnought close combat weapons and scorchers, and then that obviously the Junker Death Dread, he'll have dual scorcher. So you know, not too bad. And I believe that in 7th edition walkers are able to do the Overwatch, so that's quite a lot of that wall of death firing if you decide to charge into them. And also with the Dread Mob, you can now add the Mecha Dreads into the Death Dread mobs, and they work just like characters. Which, speaking of the Mecha Dreads, here's one of mine. So I used to run them with rocket bomb packs just for sort of fun, but this guy will have a mega charger instead, which is basically like a crappy fleet. If you roll a 1 though, you're immobilized, which is obviously really bad, but at the same time you can repair it, so it's not the end of the world if that happens. So yeah, and this guy, I've got to do a lot of the rust on him still, but that's just a real basic color that I've got down there. I've not painted the pilot yet. And then I've got my other one, which is in my older scheme. I may leave this blue. I might make this a little bit lighter blue, and then I'll add orange somewhere else. And this is my sort of crappy attempt. I have to fix it up a bit, but this is my crappy attempt at a custom force field. I don't know if I'll leave it like that. I suppose I could leave it like that and just add more effects on it. I don't know. See. But yeah, one of them will have a custom force field, and he will sit behind my killer cans and just sort of walk them up, give him that 5+ invul. And it's measured from the hull. So it's not too bad with this guy because I got him leaning forward. I put all these guys on bases to make it a bit easier because these guys don't come with a base from Forge World. So it actually is a bit of a hindrance, me sticking them on there. There used to be a time where I could measure from the base, which was, well, I suppose, bending the rules a little bit, but it was fun. And then we got the meat and potatoes, which is your boys. In a dread mob, you get spanner boys, so we don't get your regular knobs. We get mechs instead, which I don't know how that works with the mob rule. It's not really addressed anywhere. It doesn't matter in my case. I'm not taking any mechs. Yeah, you're paying 10 points for a dude who's still just a regular boy. He doesn't get an extra wound or anything. He can repair things, but it's only on a 5+ now with the mech tools. The Mecha Dreads still have the old rule, so that's a 4+. But yeah, they're just not worth it for 10 points. You can take a flamer with them, which is sort of cool, but again, not worth it. So I'm taking a unit of 15, which I'm going to stick in my big Squigoth, and the big Squigoth, for the purposes of the units embarked on him, he's like an open-topped vehicle, so you can fire out from sitting on top of him. So that's 30 shots, 30 strength 4 shots. I'm sure that someone is going to get surprised by that, and I can shoot that from the tip of his head, which is also really cool. And then I'm taking 2 units of 20. I'll show you another one. This guy is just a work in progress. But yeah, I'm taking 2 units of 20, which I'll probably, depending on who I'm up against, I'll probably stick them in reserve. Orc boys aren't what they used to be. You know, with the new mob rule, you're not fearless anymore unless you've got a knob in there, and even then he's just going to beat you to death. So yeah, I'll probably use them as backfield objective holders, and that's it. That's the army. The plan behind it, obviously, is just to castle up all my dreads, march them up the middle, reserve my orc boys, and for backfield holding, and see how it goes. It's got some major weaknesses. If you take any sort of serious anti-tank guns, I'm going to be pretty sad. I also I'm pretty slow, so I imagine that Tau are going to be really hard to deal with. Grav guns are going to be nasty, especially with grav amps. You know, lots of people like to run those Centurion stars. Normally I use demons, and my soul grinders really hate those. The bike guys, you know, I can't really deal with the characters, but I think that if you have a big Death Star and I throw in the Mecha Dread with the 3 Death Dreads into your squad, then you're probably going to stick there for a long time. So not all that worried about the Death Stars too much. I mean, they generally only have one character in there. Obviously they've got the crack grenades, but crack grenades aren't that great against Death Dreads, and against the mechas they don't really do anything unless you immobilize me. So yeah, so that's that. Oh, and flies. I don't have much for flies. I've got the big shooters on the little grot tanks. That's if you're only armor 10. So, but if you fly over me, then I can shoot you in the back with the 15 dudes sitting on the big Squigoth. Yeah, so that's a solid plan right there. So that's the army. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'll probably do some more updates and stuff as I paint them. I'll get some better pictures if anyone wants to see them, obviously. And yeah, I'll probably do some tournament reports coming up as well. And I've also started on Star Wars Armada, so I'll throw up some pictures of that as well, and probably do some reports with a mate of mine. I've also got some pictures and stuff. I'll do some picture reports. We did some themed battles. So yeah, all that's coming up, and thanks for watching. Bye.